A rough start to the 2016 season. After a Week 1 stumble in Colorado, Week 2, the road gets even tougher. A true away game at 16th-ranked Hutchinson. Last year, the Reavers rode an outstanding performance by the dark side to slay the Blue Dragons on their home field. Would there be a repeat, or would this be a sequel that should have gone direct to video? We'll find out. The Iowa Western Football Coaches Show is coming up with highlights and more. The Coach Stroh Show is only on CBTV 17. From the studios of CBTV 17 at Iowa Western and Council Bluffs, welcome to the Coach Stroh Show. Jake Ryan with the head coach, Scott Strohmeyer. Coach, a long bus ride back across the Rocky Mountains in I-80 last weekend. This week, well, you get that week of practice after it's not jet lag so much, but it's bus lag. How did week 1 of practice go after the first game?
Well, I think we started off maybe a little bit slow, and you get home Sunday at 9:45 a.m. and we had meetings that afternoon already. And but I thought we practiced pretty well. They're young, they're resilient, they can get out there and give us their effort that they need to do. So I thought it was pretty decent.
Well, you get the neutral site game last week. This week, it is a true away game. So let's see how the Reavers would respond against the Blue Dragons of Hutchinson. Let's take a look at those highlights. Reavers and the Blue Dragons doing the pregame handshake. And, well, we just talked about it. You guys take the first snap, and it's not looking good on the first drive of the game. Bobby Patterson, wise job kicking the ball out of bounds, taking a safety on that first drive.
Yeah, not the way you want to start. You give them two right off the bat, and we're behind the 8 ball.
And then they go to work. Chris James hands off to one of a couple of running backs that they saw action on the day. And again, they really were trying to establish the run and the short pass. They get one outside here.
Yeah, they did a good job of playing with tempo, high tempo, running the same play, just trying to get it in fast.
Yeah, I made the comment on the air as they try the fade to the corner, a little bit overthrown. Tobias Moss in the coverage. They settle for a field goal, 5-0. But it seemed like between the two of you were having a contest as to who could snap the ball faster.
Well, we both tried to go fast. They took it to a new level, I think, at times on Saturday.
Pass to the slot receiver there, dropped by Tyler Harris and Chris James. They think about this a little bit more, and then a penalty against the Reavers, too many men on the field.
Yeah, that's when you can't give those guys, can't give them first downs, and now our defense has to come out and come up with another stop.
And we saw that last week on that blocked kick. I thought it was blocked, but they said it wasn't. It ended up with giving them an extended drive, and now this time a face mask on the rush by Chris James. That gives them another 15 yards.
Yeah, we're not starting the way we need to. We're giving them every chance to jump on us, really.
But still only 5-0. James will roll out and then is just drilled. Nice interception there by the Reavers as the big boy comes over the Royal Silver with the INT.
Well, and that's what you need. You need a big play, and Royal, we got pressure on the quarterback, and Royal came up with the interception.
Andre Nunez started, but A.J. Bush seeing early action. He gets a run to the outside. He looked a little bit more confident in game number 2.
Yeah, and you're going to, more practice reps and all that. He's going to continue to get more comfortable.
The left-hander throwing it outside to DeAnthony McGriffin. DeAnthony showed up this game. Last week he was kind of non-existent, but had a lot of great catches in this one, and we'll see some more of them coming up.
Yeah, he did, and it was good. We come back and we get a field goal, at least get points on the board, 5-3. For all that's went on in the first few series, to be 5-3, we're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. And 5-3, and you're with the win now in the second quarter, which is even bigger. Defensive line, strong play again, and then AJ goes to work again, slinging it downfield.
Yeah, breaks out of the pocket and finds McGriff, and again, we're in position. Feels like we're getting into kind of a little bit of a flow.
Now, in 2009, there was not, as you see, the ball tipped and the kind of a tip drill there. Finally, they bring it down. Unfortunate turnover there. But in 2009, there wasn't a left-hander on that team, was there? Was Austin Macbeth a lefty?
Nope.
So this is the first left-handed
one.
quarterback that you've had in your system. What have you had to do to kind of change things around?
Well, not a lot really. You know, it's a little bit different when you're calling plays if it's sprint outs or things like that, or trying to move them on the pocket to put them in better position.
Penalty in the end zone results in another safety. It's 7-3, so a more conventional score, and the Reavers trying to continue to throw downfield. Nunez will get some more time. Nice look outside into the hands of, I believe, Austin Arendt there. Yes, It is. And Austin seeing his first time as a Reaver this week and doing a nice job.
He did, you know, and we stressed it all the time that when you get your opportunity, be ready, and he did. I think he had 2 or 3 catches in the game, a touchdown.
Nice punt there by Patterson, pins Hutch deep, and then another INT this time by Hakeem Bailey as he gets to just inside the 30 and a little bit banged up on that play.
Yeah, you know, again, a chance to get a big play, and we're kind of rolling it again, which is good. You know, defense gets a turnover. We turned one over. Now we got to take advantage of these, though.
Roll out right, throw to the end zone, and nearly a nice catch by Anthony Turner, but he comes up empty. AJ again goes to the end zone, and this time he'll find Austin on that quick little seam route up the middle, and a touchdown for the Reavers.
Yeah, you know, he's really patient and kind of put that one in late in the week, and it was good to see him execute it.
Not a very good process there on that extra point. The kick no good, and that one, it turns out, would be big later on in the game.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we got to take care of those. I mean, those are automatics we got to have. We had a couple special teams blunders.
But here's the good news. You take a lead into halftime. It's 9-7 after a pair of safeties, and then you guys each exchange a field goal, but the Reavers are the only team that gets a touchdown on the day.
I'll tell you what, we were very fortunate to be 9-7, you know, and I said that, you know, as I was going in for us to even be in the game for all the bad that went on in that first half. So I was proud of our guys in the first half of just battling through it and having the lead. Now we just got to finish things off.
A late score, and the Reavers lead it at halftime. Second half adjustments, and another 30 minutes of football are coming up from Gowan Stadium in Hutchinson, Kansas. There's more of the Iowa Western Football Coaches Show on the way. You're watching it right here on CBTV 17.
Schedule your campus visit today. Iowa Western. The world is waiting.
From the studios of CBTV 17 in Council Bluffs, Jake Ryan along with Iowa Western football head coach Scott Strohmeyer. After a first half without really any semblance of a flow, you guys take a late lead similar to last year in Hutch when you took a late lead at the half. What did you tell the guys at halftime, and what kind of adjustments were you making throughout the first half and then into half?
Well, really at half, I told them from the standpoint of what we went through and, you know, all the circumstances that happened to be 9-7. You know, I mean, we're in a fortunate position. Defensively, need to keep playing the way they were, and offensively, we had to make a few adjustments. And I mean, they came out and played a defense that we didn't expect them to play. You know, so we had a game plan in, and not that we didn't know that they would run that defense, but I didn't think they would run it the entire game. So it had to change some.
Do teams do that to you?
Sometimes.
As far as Iowa Western, where they're like, okay, we're going to give them this film, but here's what we're going to install instead. Do you find that just because of the stature of the program and what you guys have been able to do in the first 7 years that you see teams throw wrinkles out at you just to keep you off balance?
Probably more than ever, just they try not to show as much unless they have to.
Right.
Don't show it unless we have to in week 1 or week 2, and then we'll save this one for them. And this one here was really, I was really surprised, that they stayed in their 3-4 defense the entire time, and where they showed a 4-man front the entire Coffeyville game with spots where they'd get into 3-man front. So, we had to change some things that took us out of a game plan in our pass game. So we were going really on the fly there. After that first series, now you're out there the first series, and now you got to change stuff on the go. So our kids responded, okay, but now we got to be prepared for everything.
All right, well, you're up 9-7. Let's take a look at the second half highlights as the guys get warmed up on the line, and up 9-7. The Reavers have to be feeling all right. It is Chris James that goes to work right away in the second half, but he goes to work running for his life as the Reavers chase him down on that play, injures his leg. You see the guys coming up, Russell Jones getting a piece of him, and James may have twisted his ankle. We saw him on the sideline in a boot for the remainder of the half. AJ, a little option read there, and he pulls it back, slips, another handoff, and another safety. 3 safeties in one game. You gave up one last week. 4 safeties in the first 2 games, Coach. I've never seen anything like it, at least in the first couple weeks of football.
I haven't been a part of 4 in my entire coaching career and playing year. Playing time, really, and he had 4 there.
AJ Bush, couple runs, he goes to the air and seemingly throws it right to the opposition. May have slipped a little bit on that one, but a short field for the new quarterback, Chaz Capps, and the Hutchinson Blue Dragons, but a similar result. See the Reavers getting in there.
Yeah, what a good job, sudden change, you got to be ready to go, and unfortunately we put our defense in a bad position.
They'll try for another field goal attempt. This one is good, and well, they go up. It was tied at 9, now 12-9. Reavers throwing it to the outside. Nice to see Kadeem Goldborn get in the mix as far as the receiving goes. He's been steady at the blocking back.
Yeah, we need to find ways to continue to get him the football.
It'll be Hutch taking back over. Capps continuing to kind of be a spark for this. This is another thing that you didn't see last week was Chaz Capps coming in. Chris James played the whole game, so a new wrinkle at quarterback, and they continue to just kind of move down the field.
Yeah, and again, that's sometimes you get a new quarterback in, and your offensive game plan changes a little bit, so you got to come back and be ready for it.
All right, another field goal attempt. This one will put them up 15-12. How unlucky was that ball on the ground? You just have not had anything bounce your way as far as the fumbles go. This time it is the Blue Dragons that hang on to it, but you get the ball back, and DeAnthony McGriff again making his presence felt. The pass from A.J. Bush.
Yeah, and the defense did well. Holding them to 2 field goals. Great catch by Lorenzo Pratt there. Kind of getting a little spark here going that you can kind of feel it coming, and it seems like we always had something that would stop it, and they would get enough to get it.
DeAnthony with a great catch, Lorenzo with a great catch, and then Heasley with a great catch, and then A.J. moving forward, and then, well, just keep surging, and inside the 5-yard line, you got to be thinking, hey, we're knocking on the door, trailing by 3 here. This is going good.
Yeah, again, you can feel it. We got a little bit of rhythm now offensively in this drive, and then we hit ourselves with a penalty, and now it forces us to kick a field goal. And it's obviously good to get points, but we got to get touchdowns there. If you want to win games in this league, you got to get touchdowns.
So at that point, 15-12 on the Bobby Patterson field goal. Again, the defense playing very strong. AJ sprints into the open field this time, and his first step, once he makes that initial read and gets going, he really can make a huge difference in the game plan.
For sure, and I think that's some of the big playability that he has. This one, I thought again, sometimes you just need a break, and got it up in the air a little bit too much. He was just taking a chance with it, but hopefully we can get it. Then we hurt ourselves with something like this, and I'll take that one. We changed a little blocking scheme, which put it tough on him there, but we got to take care of the football. And we're not going to win any games if we turn it over 5 times.
Yeah, Reavers stringing out Otis Williams there all the way to the sideline. And now it's Capps to work again. This one batted down in the face. And so many times it's been so close. That would have been an interception instead of the turnover. And then you give it back here as AJ again picks it up off a fumble. And then, you chase down the ball, and it's Hutchinson that falls on it again. Second fumble of the game for the Reavers.
Yeah, and you know what? You got to credit our defense. Look at the bad positions they've been put in, and they just keep battling and battling and battling and holding them, not keeping them out of the end zone.
And it was Egwu getting in, and finally they blow the play dead. They'll try the field goal. Okay, Coach, here's my question on this one. It's so short, but the wind was howling. You put a guy back there next time?
Yeah, I mean.
Although I don't know how they would have fielded it.
Right. But yeah, we got to probably in a strong wind like that. You know, we got to drive here. We start off a little screen pass to McGriff. Again, kind of we're clicking here offensively. Just we're shooting ourselves in the foot.
So again to McGriff, he gets out of bounds, stops the clock, and we're under a minute with this drive begins taking hold, and then that ball tipped away. Luckily, Blake Yeager is there, and he covers it. So good news, but also bad news because that's at a 4th and 21. And how about this catch? Left-handed tip it to my right hand, and DeAnthony McGriff converts that. 4th and 21, you keep the drive going. AJ stutters a little bit there. Now he steps out of trouble, and a nice pass to the sideline. Lorenzo Pratt gets moving and gets out of bounds, which is even more important as he didn't have any timeouts left.
Right. You know, and again, this is a good 2-minute deal and 10 seconds to go. You know, we're just going to take one shot at the end zone and kick a field goal and see if we couldn't make a play. And unfortunately, that's the story of the game right there. We got something going and we shot ourselves in the foot.
Sure. So Bingham returns it for a touchdown. I was thinking the entire time, just go down on it. I mean, the clock is expired. What happens if he gets stripped there and you return it the other way?
Exactly.
So they do score. They go up 21-12. They win the game on that play. But in the scheme of things, you're right there. You got one play, and that's what we thought up in the booth. Take one shot at it. If it doesn't work, you've still got time to set Bobby Patterson up for a field goal with the wind.
Yes, you know, and go and take it in overtime, you know. And I mean, I thought about kicking it right there, and I'm like, we got 10 seconds. We got a chance. For the way the game was going, I never thought it would have ended that way, but I was thinking on the other end, for how bad things have, all we got to do is make one play here, and we can come out of this thing on top. And you know, it just is what it is.
Now, Reavers get their first passing touchdown of the season in the game. 3 safeties, though, so strange. 3 field goals and that touchdown to end it just kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth because you know that the victory was right there for the Reavers. Unfortunate, another tough loss, but a team that showed no quit. A lot different than last year's start when it was a similar 0-2, but a totally different makeup of this year's ball club, and we expect that they will get it going against Fort Scott. We'll talk about not only the Greyhounds, but we'll return a talk with a member of the dark side, although not a member of the starting lineup. Freshman Colton Dinsdale will sit down with IWTV student Ben Smith. You are watching the Coach Stroh Show on CBTV 17.
For more than a quarter century, thousands of Southwest Iowa athletes have relied on this team, Jenny Ed Sports Med. Their sole focus is to prevent, diagnose, and treat your sports injury. They even partner with the surgeons at Ortho West, ensuring you get your own exclusive roadmap back to action. Methodist Jenny Ed Sports Med invites all Southwest Iowa athletes to its free walk-in clinic, open every Saturday morning, August through October. Jenny Ed Sports Med.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
The Coach Stroh Show continues here on CBTV 17. I'm IWTV student Ben Smith, along with Reaver freshman defensive back Colton Dinsdale. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so first off, in the game on Saturday, you were not in the starting 11. What were you expecting to kind of go in early?
I mean, I never really know what Coach Black's, what his schedule is for us to go in and out. But I mean, I was expecting to go in probably third, fourth series, get a few reps, then get taken back out and put the starter back in. But we had a linebacker that went down earlier in the game, and so I kind of got a lot more playing time than I expected, and we had to flip-flop some linebackers back and forth to get the groove going. But I mean, yeah, I didn't expect to play that much, but happy I did. So.
Yeah, the defense from the beginning started to really get in a groove. Hutchinson had 4 straight 3-and-outs to start the game, and you just seemed to kind of mesh right into that flow. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, once I got in there and got a couple hits, I mean, I felt pretty confident in myself and whatnot. And the defense, I mean, we're all brothers out there. We're all dogs, like, ready to get each other's back. So, I mean, our goal is always 3-and-out. I mean, we're gonna stop them, get good field position off the punt and whatnot, and get our offense going. But, I mean, that doesn't always happen. But, I mean, 4 straight 3-and-outs or whatever, that's pretty good on our part. So.
Well, it was a very windy day down there in Kansas. How much did the wind affect there, especially with Hutch throwing the ball a lot?
Yeah, I mean, the wind was bad going one way. I'm not sure which direction it was going, but one way you could definitely tell that the wind affected both offenses either way. But, I mean, they could still throw the ball. I mean, we can still throw the ball. I mean, the wind does play a factor, but, I mean, it wasn't a huge factor. I didn't think much. But for the special teams, it's a huge factor, I feel like. But.
Now, your offense didn't produce as much as you would wish. 3 safeties, kind of unheard of numbers. How do you kind of just keep pushing forward when your offense isn't giving as much as you want?
Well, when the offense isn't producing as much as we want, the defense just takes it in our own hands, and we just got to keep stepping our game up. I mean, we got to try and get fumbles, got to try and get interceptions, maybe get a pick 6, something like that. And, I mean, it didn't happen, but, I mean, when our offense gets pushed down to the 1-yard line and they're right next to the end zone for a safety, I mean, it's hard to get out of there. So, I mean, they did what they could and just didn't come out as planned.
Now, you guys are 0-2. How do you attack the next game?
I mean, adversity. We just gotta keep pushing. I mean, we can't give up now. I mean, other teams are 0-2. Some are 1-1 or whatever. I mean, we're still in it. I mean, we can still get a bowl game, whatnot. We can still make the national championship if we want to. I mean, we just got to keep pushing ourselves every week, go to practice, willing to work, and, I mean, we'll be fine. So.
Well, thanks again for joining us here. We hope you guys can get that first W of the season next week against Fort Scott. Coming up after the break, Jake Ryan and the coach are back to talk about the Reavers and this week's matchup under the lights in Fort Scott, Kansas. The Stroh Show will be right back.
At the Council Bluffs Recycling Center, we're proud of the effort our community makes to help keep Council Bluffs beautiful by participating in our curbside recycling program. Here are some tips to make sure your recyclables are accepted. If you're confused about plastics, we can help. Numbers 1 through 5 plastic food and beverage containers are acceptable. Usually the recycling triangle and the number inside are located on the bottom of containers. Items we don't take include numbers 6 and 7 plastics, styrofoam, or bags of any sort, although we encourage recycling plastic bags inside local grocery stores. Please be sure to check the calendar in our annual mailer or on our website to find out what items will be picked up each week. Blue Week items for your curbside bin include paper, cardboard, and glass containers. Green Week items for your curbside bin include plastic food and beverage containers, tin and aluminum containers, and tin foil. Thank you for helping us keep Council Bluffs beautiful.
At Council Bluffs Savings Bank, you still get personalized customer service.
We have identity-safe checking with LifeLock, identity theft protection.
You get personal mortgage lending to fit your needs now and in the future.
You get business banking with the latest technology because saving you time saves you money.
At Council Bluffs Savings Bank, you get people who answer when you call and local employees who are actively involved in our community. Council Bluffs Savings Bank, hometown banking the way it used to be.
Another tough loss for the Reavers, and they will try to get back on the horse this week. How much has being on the road for so many weeks in a row kind of, I mean, you're here right now, but you were away for Independence on Friday before the season started. You go to Grand Junction, that's a heck of a drive. Last week to Hutch, and now to Fort Scott. You finally get some home cooking on September 17th, but first you got to play a night game in Fort Scott, Kansas, which isn't that far of a drive, but you're going to be getting back late just because of the time of the game. Who set this schedule up, Coach?
Well, I'll take the blame for the first one at Grand Junction, but that was what was handed to us. We were supposed to have a home game, but we lost because of Independence. And yeah, it's bringing back, obviously, in 2012 when we did it, but we were 2-0,
right.
And we're playing well. So I think our guys want to get home at some point too. But we got one more on the road, and it's going to be a night game. We're going to get back 5, 6 in the morning on Sunday, but then be ready for the home game. So, I mean, it's wearing. It might even be as much on my staff as it is the players, just because, we're here all day Sunday, and and Monday and all the way through. So.
Well, you get a pair of home games after this week's game against Fort Scott. Butler and Coffeyville are the opponents, though, so it's going to be a little bit tougher. And then an unusual thing, a bye week. I don't think there's been a bye week since 2012, correct?
Yeah, it's been 2012 probably was the last time we had one. So that's always nice. I mean, to go through the 5-game stretch that we're going through,
Right.
and then we're going to need it. It's going to be refreshing for the kids and for the coaches of just kind of getting healthy and getting our mindset for the stretch run.
Well, Fort Scott is not a pushover by any means, and you'll be at their place. What can you tell us about the Greyhounds?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're very vastly improved from last year. And watching them on film, they got some good skill guys. They're good again on defense. They were good last year on defense, but they're really improved. The quarterback's playing well. It's going to, like I said, they took Butler to the wire. It's 35-35 or something like that, or 42-35, and they had a chance to go down. They got the ball one last chance, and Butler stopped them. So they can play. They beat Independence on a field goal. They kicked a field goal to win it at the end. And we scrimmaged Indy, and Indy's not terrible.
Yeah.
So that's how I can kind of gauge where they're at. So we're going to have to play well. I think the thing is we're playing well at times, but we just got to take care of the football. And I've never seen some of the things that happened in the first 2 weeks so many times happen to us. So we got to get that corrected.
Well, hopefully everything that happens from here on out will be things that you've seen in a positive manner.
Yes.
Well, here's a quick question for you. You talk about Fort Scott being better and Independence being no pushover. Do you think that the addition of the Iowa schools to the Kansas Jayhawk, and not that the Jayhawk was down before, but you had your top and then you had your bottom, and the bottom was way on the bottom, but everybody seems to have upped their game a little bit since the addition of Iowa Central, Ellsworth, and Iowa Western.
Yeah, and I've listened in their meetings, and they think that in order for them to compete, they had to go to 20 out-of-staters because that's what we were at, and now they're talking about going unlimited and increasing scholarships and doing all that type of stuff. I mean, they've all increased their coaches. Their budgets are extremely high. So I think that is part of it, because when we went into the league, we had a national championship in 2012, and we're 11-1 and 13,
Right.
So. And then we played for one right away. So within the first 2 years prior to us joining, and the first year we were in it, 2 national championship games, and we won one, and finished number 3 in the next.
All right, well, Coach, good luck bouncing back this week against Fort Scott. I know it won't be easy, but I know you guys will put your game plan together and be ready for the only game under the lights this season for the Reavers.
I appreciate it.
All right, there's head coach Scott Stroh. Another edition in the books. The Reavers with just one more road game before a chance to finally see them in person. The home opener is the 17th against Butler for the First Responders Day. All first responders, police, firefighters, and EMTs are welcome to come and enjoy the game with their families free of charge. Just present your credentials at the gate on game day. This week, under the lights in Fort Scott, Kansas, the Reavers and the Greyhounds kicking off at 7 p.m. We will have the pregame show for you at 6 on 89.7 The River and on NJCAA TV. Before that, you can catch the nationally ranked men's and women's soccer teams. They will be in action at home at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock at the Reaver Sports Complex on Saturday afternoon. Highlights from the game next week on the Stroh Show and the Bluff Sports Zone as well. That's hosted by CBTV's sports director, Mr. J.J. Davis. It's every week. Check them out on demand at cbtv17.com. Thanks again to Reaver head football coach Scott Stroh and Reaver Colton Dinsdale for stopping by to be on the show today. For all of the hardworking Reaver sports media students and IWTV students. Of course, student host Ben Smith as well. I'm Jake Ryan. We will talk to you Saturday. Remember to wear your blue, be loud, and go Reavers.